Hello. I'm Refashionista Sheri, as always. And today we're doing something a little different that hopefully is going to actually become a weekly series. And that is the Refashionista Recharge, where I'm really hoping we're going to be able to charge each other up for the coming week and dust off all of those kind of nasty things that may have happened during the week at work or at home or whatever. We're just going to have some fun and put some positivity out into the world. And I think one of the easiest ways to get started doing that is to read some of my favorite comments from the week. And I have this lovely little jar that I have had forever, and it's just adorable. So I have the comments in there. And then what I thought that I would do is put all of the comments in this bigger jar. And then at the end of the year, I will have a bunch of really positive comments that I can look back on, and also DIY tips and tricks, because it's not always just about comments. So I think we are going to get started here. And I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. And let me see. The first comment comes from Lala Gama. And she says, three things from one, impressive. This was a comment clearly on one of my tutorials where I shared a 3-for-1 tutorial. But Lala Gama always puts very cool quotes in her comments, and that's why I printed this one out. So it says, the very nature of kindness is to spread. If you're kind to others today, they will be kind to you, and tomorrow to somebody else. And that is absolutely true. And you know what? Kindness really does cost nothing. And I never understand why it is that when people get in any kind of crappy mood or whatever, they have to take it out on other people. It just doesn't make any sense at all, right? And again, kindness costs absolutely nothing. There is never any reason to stomp through life being angry all the time. We're all going through shit in this world. We all have our own crap to deal with. And that's another reason why I always make sure that my tutorials are fun and lighthearted, and just because I want the people who are watching them and enjoying them and hopefully trying out the tutorials are going to go away feeling good that either A, they know how to make something, B, I made them giggle a little bit with my silliness, because again, there's power in looking silly and not caring that you do. That is very, very true. But let's move on to the next wonderful comment here. And this one is from Sofia Pineda. I hope I'm saying your name right. And she says, my hand met my mouth in shock when you mentioned that you self-taught at the age of 38. Your refashions are so unbelievably amazing, both the final product and the instructions. The whole time, I'm genuinely assumed you have been sewing since the womb. That or these secrets were passed down to you by a family member from the Depression, LOL. It's such a motivation. Well, Sophia, thank you so much for your comment. These lovely comments keep me motivated and keep me wanting to push forward to, hopefully eventually reach the widest audience possible and get everybody using what they have to make what they want, right? But yes, I did indeed teach myself how to sew when I was 38 years old. So I was not young at all. And it really is proof that anybody can do this. I literally failed home ec in school. Like in the 80s, they still had home ec where they taught you how to sew and cook and whatever. Anyway, I failed that class because the teacher couldn't get through to me, couldn't make me understand how to sew. And I never touched a sewing machine again. So you know what? Teachers, being a teacher myself, um, don't be an asshole to your students, because it affects them in ways you have no idea. I mean, imagine if I would have had a supportive teacher. Imagine what I could have been doing with my life, right? Like that's kind of crazy to think. At the age of 38, I inherited a sewing machine, and I just started kind of faffing about fixing my clothes because nothing ever fit me right off the rack from the store, and that's how this whole thing started. So, I'm 52 now, so I do have a few years of experience under my belt, but absolutely nothing taught in a school, no professional sewing classes, nothing like that. I really, I use my sewing machine needles until they break or bend or I can't use them anymore. That's the only time I change them. I really don't use anything special for sewing feet beyond maybe a buttonhole foot if I'm making buttons, or the rolled hem foot, few and far between, but sometimes I do a rolled hem on things. But other than that, again, you don't need any special equipment. You don't need any special training. If you have ever driven a car, that's kind of what it's like when you're sewing. You gotta put your foot on that little gas pedal under the sewing machine, and you can go slow, you can go fast. It's very similar, and, if you're a good driver, you should be a good sewist, I think, really. Alright, next comment. Let's see. This one is from Sasan68. And they say, "Hello from East Tennessee. I am a refashionista too. I love to thrift and reconstruct and have been sewing on and off for years. And I have been so inspired by you, your talent and imagination. I eyeball measure and hate to iron as well. Thank you for sharing your ideas, knowledge, and beautiful designs with us. Your channel is my positive outlet on social media, and trying some of your ideas has been so incredibly therapeutic and even has my daughter now eager to learn as well." Thank you. Thank you so much, um, for that lovely comment. And hello, Willow. Yes, hitting the heart a bunch of times. I can see that going up there. And hello, bonjour, et surya. I never can pronounce that correctly. I'm sorry. But back to this comment. This really made me feel so wonderful when I read it, because it's always such a great feeling to know that, I'm not the only one that just does eyeball measuring and just kind of flies by the seat of my pants when I'm making things, because that's really what I do. And when I say in my videos and stuff, I'm going to take my brain out and I give it to you, that's kind of how it feels to me, because that's the best way I can describe it, is I see something and then my brain comes up with like 1,000 different ideas of what to do. And then I put the best one into a video for you. Because again, if I could do this, anybody can do this. And it's really not difficult at all. So the next comment. Oh no. This one, for some reason, it doesn't have the username on it. I have no idea why. Maybe it got cut off in the printing. I'm trying to remember who wrote it though, but it says, "This tidy top video gave me an idea for some lined joggers that I have that, guess what, are too small. It would be close to what you did for the top. I was thinking, since joggers are lined, maybe I could add some length to the bottom or the top waistline of the joggers, cut the front open, add a zipper to make it look more like a jacket." Yes, exactly. You could do that exactly. That comment was left, I believe, on the tutorial where I changed lounge pants into a top. And I think absolutely you could use sweatpants to do that. And if they were high-waisted, you wouldn't have to do anything except add the little zipper. But if it would be too cropped, then you could easily add like a little length of fabric around the bottom to extend it, or remove the elastic waistband entirely and just add like another panel around there. That would absolutely work, and it would look very cool. And I think I might have to try doing that, right? Try doing that to make some sweatpants into a jacket. We'll see. And the final comment today says, this is from Arthouse 76. "PS, great vid. meant to say that at the beginning and got caught up with the nostalgia instead. Thanks for always posting your useful and creative tutorials. I still wear clothes I had in high school and college from the 90s. It's always fun to see how you'd refashion or upcycle something so I can apply it to my clothes. This is awesome. I love, love, love these kind of comments because it's letting me know that what I'm doing isn't just shouting into the void, which is something that I think a lot of creators deal with when we're putting stuff out into the world. And Willow, you cut your leggings. Excellent, excellent. So you did the leggings to sleeves, or lady leggings to under top thing. Oh, and you have two, Surya. That is fantastic. Um, When it gives you bat wing. Yes, yes, the more flowy the pants are, the more flowy your sleeves are gonna be, and your comment just, put a little yeah, okay, idea in my head to, make some kind of a bat costume maybe this year. I have a few costume ideas that definitely are in the works, but I have something that I want to tell you about. I did yesterday my Sustainable Fashion Week Canada workshop, and it was a virtual workshop. Let's take off my glasses, and it was not at all what I thought it was going to be, and I spent quite a long time filming, editing, and creating, the video portion of the workshop, which was like an hour long, and then it was supposed to be a live Q&A with me virtually for the second hour. And I don't know, I know I did my part awesomely well because I just do that. I work on things until I think it's fantastic. Um, the problem came on their side, and it was just a very, very strange situation. When it came time for me to go live, the organizer just had, like, her phone. Like, I thought it was gonna be on a screen, and they would be, it was just very unprofessional, and I've never had an experience like that before when I've had to give a talk, and she was basically just handing the phone to people. I mean, at the end of the day, there was only 2 people there, but she had sent me an email saying, "Oh, it's totally booked out." So I don't know. I didn't get paid for any of this either, so that was also terrible, to put so much work into something that was not at all what I thought it was going to be. The worst of the worst part, though, was she literally gave the phone to one of the 2 participants that were there, and this lady, really went off on me. It I was honestly, anytime I do workshops or talks or anything, it's like fun. The workshop video that I made, it was fun and engaging, and the participant really got angry at me and let me have it for a tiny, tiny little part of the video, which, and again, you have to keep in mind, I've never seen this person before in my life. She's holding the phone up. I'm here on exactly like this, wearing my jumpsuit because I expected it to be something. It was so weird. And this lady was just like, I don't do well with confrontation at all. And there there was a part in the video. I filmed a bunch of new parts, but then I also added in parts from older videos of mine that would work for this sustainable fashion, right? So one of the parts I added was, you may remember the video where I did the comparison between pre-loved and brand new, and which one was more hygienic, and I had like the chemicals and stuff. And I cited that study by P&G talking about they did like the smells and the chemicals that were in thrifted used secondhand clothes as opposed to brand new clothes. And it was just like a small, a small section. It was like maybe 8 minutes long. I don't know. And again, it was the whole point of that section was to show that secondhand isn't scary, it's not gross, and in new clothes there's a lot of scary stuff in new clothes that you don't find in thrifted clothes, right? It was bizarre though how she just was attacking me for that. And that whole section did start with me saying talking about how, people go to a restaurant or they go to a hotel and they don't mind using the used cutlery or plates or the used bedding and towels in that situation because they know it can be washed. Clothing and thrifting is no different, right? It's secondhand stuff. Uh, and the thing that she kept grabbing onto was this one chemical that I mentioned, which again, it was just this list from this P&G science, scientific study that was done. And she just kept going on and on and on about how, oh, this chemical doesn't wash out of clothes and blah, blah. And I actually today went back through the video and went to that part, and I even said that it doesn't wash out of clothes, and it's not it put in clothes in, like, the EU countries anymore. It's been banned since 2014, so but I was really caught off guard, I didn't know what to say, and the so I was just, trying to explain myself, and say, "Look, that I was just showing that thrifting isn't gross, that's all I was trying to do," like, in a funny way, like, and, unfortunately, the organizer didn't jump in. She didn't stop this woman from attacking me. It was very strange. And then finally, they this person was done, and she gave the phone to the other lady who looked kind of shell shocked, and she was very nice. And she said, she was a teacher for seventh and eighth grade, and she will definitely be using some of my tutorials in her classroom, which is very nice. But again, I just am so shell shocked. Yeah, that the same with me, Willow. I was absolutely I like, she was genuinely angry and just kept going on and on and on, and that was maybe 32 seconds of that entire segment was talking about that one particular chemical, but she just kept going on, and it was just like, I'm more ticked off with the organizer for, first of all, if you're moderating a Q&A, which I've done several Q&As, and the moderator always makes sure of what the questions are gonna be first, and they don't really allow anyone to go into attack mode, but again, why would you? Like, I what did I do? It was just really weird. It was very weird. And I didn't get any apology email as of yet from the organizer. I mean, that's it. She those 2 questions, I talked to the second lady a little bit, and then, that was it. The organizer took her phone back and was like, "Okay, thanks very much, bye. Done." Like, what? It was very weird, but again, yet another example of I get my hopes up all the time that, "Oh, this time it's going to be different, and this opportunity is going to actually lead to something," and it never does. Like, every single time I think, "Yay, a good opportunity has landed in my lap," or I sought it out and I got it, without fail, it just doesn't work, and I don't understand why. Like, sometimes I think I give people the benefit of the doubt too much, maybe, that they're going to be as professional and as, gung ho, I guess, to do an excellent job as I am all the time, but Clearly, I gotta stop doing that, but, anyway, I did put the video portion of the workshop, into my memberships on my channel because I didn't want it to go to waste at all, and I put so much work into it, and I'm really proud of it. I mean, it is in its entirety, it is a standalone, start to finish sustainable fashion workshop that's like an hour long. So it's in the membership section. You can join and watch it and enjoy it. And let me know what you think about it. but, but yeah, that was a very strange thing that happened to me just yesterday. So it's still pretty fresh in my mind. And I'm not sure if I should just leave it and wait to see if I'm gonna get any sort of communication, like an apology or whatever kind of lame excuse, or if I should, reach out and say, "What the hell was that?" Like, but, yeah, you let me know, please. What would you do in my situation? Would you, like, ignore it, leave it, wait, or reach out and do, you know yeah, maybe I should reach out. Yeah, it's like, what the hell was that? Yes. So weird to be attacked in a very lighthearted, sustainable fashion workshop. So weird. Okay, anyway, now that I've got that story out of my system, I thought I would show you some of the weird little I just have them here, that's why I'm looking there. Weird little accessory ideas for those items that maybe you would throw in the garbage, but maybe you shouldn't throw it in the garbage. So first up, we have this. You can see this was made out of can you guess what that is? It's pretty I think it's pretty easy, right? Like, I don't know how close I can go to the camera here. Anybody? Anybody guessing what this lovely necklace was started out life as? Yes, it is exactly, it was a zipper, and this is actually just half of the zipper, and I just rolled it all up and hand stitched it and put some beads in the middle and then stitched the chain onto the back. So, this is a very simple and easy upcycle that you can just create with something that, you literally have in your house somewhere, like, it's a broken zipper. Um, oh, this is another funny one. Do you have any idea what the what that is? What does this look like? Yes, it is a couple of bath puffs, old bath puff pieces that I put, together into a flower shape, and then I literally hand sewed a safety pin on the back of it, and it's like a kind of big, boutonniere type of thing. But again, you can it's just a silly thing you can make, right, out of stuff that you already have around your house instead of chucking this into the bin, going to the landfill, make it into a hilarious flower brooch, which this could be good for a costume of some description. I'm certain of that. I'm quite certain of that. Oh, this something that I used to do all the time is make these necklaces out of, little coin purses. And so this is literally just a coin purse, and then I just added the jump rings there right through the fabric, and, it's now a really cute necklace that you can wear and carry stuff around in. It's, like, super cute. It is, it's absolutely a great little, extra on like a gift, like for the outside packaging, like Catherine says, it's absolutely the most adorable little thing that you can add. And most people in your house right now, you have some kind of little bag or like a little old makeup bag, even, or a coin purse. It's so easy to make those kind of things out of it. So easy. And um, earrings are, I always think, one of the simplest things that you can make. So these, try to were 2, like, little fake toy books, right? It's not real books, it's just, like, the covers of some little golden books that were made for, like, a dollhouse or something, and I literally just poked holes in the corners and added some earring hooks. That is all. Like, it's again, this is, like, 2 minutes to make these, and it's very, very cute. Whoop, wrong side. There we go. It's very, very cute. Um, Oh, the bracelet I'm wearing. Yeah, there's something else. This was a plain cuff, and it's not plain anymore, right? Because this is just fabric, that I put all of this stuff on, and then, stitched it around the cuff. So, very, very, very simple. Nothing about upcycling ever, ever, ever has to be difficult, right? Like, ever. Nothing. If you see anything that you're looking around wherever you are right now, just look around the room, or if you're outside, and I'm sure you can find something that you can upcycle, because honestly, anything can be upcycled. And making earrings, again, one of the easiest things you can do. If you have a little anything, put an earring back on it, poke a little earring hook through it, and you're done. Or the same thing with this kind of stuff, right? You're just adding a chain and you make a necklace. Nothing ever has to be difficult. Nothing ever has to use expensive tools or equipment or classes or anything like that. Like I say all the time, if I can do this, you can do this. Um, right here on my desk, I have just this jar of fake flowers. And even something like this, right, would make the coolest earrings or necklaces, or put them around the collar of a shirt. Like, there's just so many things you can do with just what you already have around your house. And it's not only that you're upcycling and you're making something cool out of trash, basically, but it's also the satisfaction that you get from it, and the fact that like, I feel great every time I finish a project, even if that project doesn't really turn out as I had planned. I still feel really accomplished that I actually did something, right? And that, I think, is very important in life, especially now with all of the absolute horrors that are going on all over the world. We need to have something that is going to make us feel a little bit better about being in the world right now. And for me, it's definitely, refashioning, upcycling, and sharing my ideas with everybody. That makes me feel really good, and especially when I get, the lovely comments that I get. Um, but on to a different topic. I was wondering if anybody else remembers those pastel colored mints from the 80s. I think they were called butter mints, but anytime in the 80s when I was a kid, if we would go to a restaurant and they would bring the bill, and they always had those little, they were looked like little tiny pillows, and they like melted in your mouth and they were super minty. Does anybody remember those? I don't know. Am I just the weird? I don't know. But I was thinking about those because my brain never shuts off. And I think I managed to find something very, very similar. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Good. I'm not the only one. And That is these, pink mints. These are literally called pink mints. That's the name of them. And, they're a dollar. Look at that. They're a dollar from, the Canadian Dollarama store. I'm Canadian. And these are the closest things that I have found to those butter mint melt in your mouth things, but they're really, really hard. They don't, melt in your mouth. This is like it's, like, very powdery as well. But I love those things so much. I have my own little lovely vintage container where beside my desk, and I just eat these when I'm editing videos and stuff. I have no idea why. It's it's just, you know, one of those things that when I can taste that taste in my mouth, I feel, more relaxed. I don't know. I have massive, generalized anxiety disorder, that's what it's called, and so that is one of the ways that I can calm myself down sometimes when life is feeling overwhelming. So I want to know, what are some of the ways that you get yourself a little bit chilled out in those situations where maybe, um your brain is going a little bit out of hand, you know? I'm 100% sure there are some of you out there who have a brain like mine that just never stops and is constantly going, 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 and you just feel like you're doing 1,000 things every day. Oh, Catherine says her grandma used to make buttermints. Yeah, I wish you had the recipe to share it, because I have looked online and it just seems to be, a lot of work and a lot of, like, things that I don't actually have in my kitchen ever, and, groceries are very expensive nowadays anyway. So, like, butter here in Toronto is about $8 for a stick of butter, which is like, so no one's having butter here. I don't think. Oh, it's crazy. Um, by the way, where's everybody? Oh, sir, yeah, you sewing and crochet. Yes. Yes. Where's everybody from? Just type in a comment where you're from. Like, just just the country, because I know US people, you always say where you are in the US, but we're not in the US, so we don't know every town and city in the US. So are you from the US? Are you Canadian? Are you from France? Germany? Just Willow? I know exactly where Willow lives because she's my buddy. So oh, okay, Texas, okay. Today I was actually, grooving, like, when I listen to music, when I'm sorry, have to calm my brain for a minute. Again, you see, all the thoughts come at the same time, and I can't stop it. So, when I was working on editing some videos today, I was listening to that song by Alabama, "If you wanna play in Texas, you gotta have a fiddle in the band." Do you know that song? I used to teach country dancing when I was much, 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 much younger, and that was one of my favorite songs to use in my lessons. Do you two-step, Catherine, if you're from, Texas? Yes, any kind of country music really gets. Oh, you're not a country fan? Okay. I'm I'm kind of a fan of everything, but, I basically did most of my growing up in what is considered the Texas of Canada, and so, I grew up with that music, and I grew up, country dancing, and I even had, square dancing lessons when I was a kid. So, yeah, but country music really can get you going as long as it's not "There's a tear in my beer" kind of music. Ah, that's funny, Willow, yes. I'm sure there's lots of people in Texas who aren't maybe fans of country music. Um, I think now we're going to I'm just kind of rambling, right? I mean, it's alive. What are you gonna do? But if anybody has any questions about anything to do with refashioning or just anything, go ahead. Feel free to ask. If you have a project you're not sure what to do with, if you um, have ADHD and don't know how to deal with it, I don't know. Feel free to ask. Yo, you had to do square dancing in gym class. Yeah, we had to do square dancing in gym class too, but then I also had separate square dancing lessons. Oh, very funny. Very funny. And that is something that's a little bit strange, right? How um that's not a terrible thing, I don't think, to have in gym class. It's much better to have to do, square dancing or line dancing than to have to run 100 laps around the gym, I think. It's a lot more fun to do any kind of dancing, than it is I don't know what's going on with education. It's just gone downhill so much, and that's something that during the pandemic it was very strange to be able to actually see how the teachers were teaching and with the virtual school and everything. And my daughter had her desk set up right near my desk in my little studio, so I could absolutely hear everything, and it was just very, very strange, to see. I don't know, it's just it's very different, and I think all over the world it's different as well, um, but it's definitely different than what school was in the '80s, and, okay, so I have ballet flats that are too big, and I was thinking about sewing elastic so they stay on, but the leather is pretty thick. Do you think I should use glue? Ah, 1 second. Let me not that one. I'm going to find you. I think it's this one. In this book, huh? I have just let me find it. Um, I actually changed the elastic in where is it? Up for on a pair of there it is. Okay. On a pair of sandals, because it was just bad. And this wasn't, I mean, it's backwards, but it wasn't leather, but it was really, really thick faux leather. And so I absolutely where am I going? I absolutely had to use, a really thick needle and pliers to get it through, but I definitely would recommend sewing it if you can. Glue, it's not gonna stay on forever, right? Like you see what down here on this page, I did glue on this faux fur, but that was just to the outside. But I don't think I would really trust glue to hold on an elastic that's, being stretched constantly, putting on and off your feet. And you don't want to be out and about and then it's comes off. If there's any way that you could do, like, strappy ties, that's a lot easier to sew on than just an elastic. Um, or if your ballet flats have, like, a what's that called? With where you put the tunnel, where you put the elastic through, if it has something like that, and you can somehow feed some ribbon through there or some kind of tie and then, make them kind of like gladiator type sandals that you tie on your feet, that would probably work a lot better, but I don't think that glue would do the trick. Even something like Gorilla Glue, I don't think it would work very well. But yeah, definitely if you can sew it, that's why I always have my needle nose pliers and a thick needle handy as well. And the best needles I have found in my experience are like embroidery needles are great. And then you can actually use thicker embroidery thread as well. And it really lasts for a really long time when you do it that way. Anyone else have any questions? This is kind of what I was expecting, like, to have pleasant questions during my workshop yesterday, not to be yelled at by strangers on somebody's phone. That's so weird. If you missed that section of my live, you can watch it during the replay. I just had a horrible experience in a workshop that I volunteered for. So, very crazy. Anyway, does anybody want for this particular month, because we're already in October, does anybody want like strictly Halloween tutorials, or do you like how I did last Friday's video where it was kind of the combination showing, you could wear this every day or you can wear it as a Halloween costume as well? Is that kind of the way to go, do you think, with the content for October? I'm not really sure, but I do enjoy being able to style things multiple different ways. That's something else that I think is really, really cool about refashioning is you can literally make things exactly how you want them to fit, and what's in your closet, right? So you know that, oh, if I put this doily on this shirt, I can also wear it with this and this and this and that. But yeah, I have what I think I'm going to be this Halloween is is Frederica Krueger. So so I will be sharing that costume with my wonderful easy DIY wounds and scars on my face. And it's always fun when I share the more horror leaning costumes because I get lots of comments on those videos about how, I'm a demon and all of those wonderful things. So, yay. Does anybody have any costume ideas that they would like me to try to make out of stuff that I already have? Like last year, I did that reverse mermaid costume because I had that shirt in my closet that kind of looked like fish scales. So I just built off that and made a reverse mermaid. So it was, legs on the bottom and the fish on the top. Again, I think that's kind of gone away as well. What I grew up with in the, 70s, 80s, 90s, where you would make your own costume out of like what you already have. Now, with all of these capitalist stores like Spirit Halloween, and I mean, all the big box stores, even thrift stores jump into the Halloween because they get donations of it, right? And it's like, it's not fun anymore, really, to just go out and buy a costume. That was like the fun of Halloween. Oh, have I ever done a Marilyn Monroe? I have not ever done a Marilyn Monroe. And that simply is because I've always been drawn to like horror and gross costumes. And that might be because for like years my mother always made me be a princess and I hated it. And to this day I remember how itchy that horrible costume was that she made me wear. And I had to wear it till I was like 9 years old and then I just couldn't fit into it anymore. It was horrible. And from then on I was, vampires and zombies and all of those kind of things. But yeah, that might be something that I can do. And I'm just looking at my little rack over there, and I even have a white, a white 1970s wedding gown, actually, that has just been sitting there, and I'm thinking, "Oh, should I cut into it? Should I not?" But you know what? It might work for that, for a very, traditional, this was it the 7-year itch? She has that white dress and goes over the grate and ooh, yeah, it might work for that. It might. Does anybody else have any, idea what they're going to be for Halloween? Do you dress up for Halloween even? Or are you finding you're too old for that? I don't think you're ever too old for that. Even if you are, just handing out candy. Even if you don't like Halloween, you can still have fun and just, dress up because it's fun. Like sometimes I just dress up. And when my daughter was little, like, up until about 10 years old, so maybe not that little, but we used to just dress up sometimes just for fun and just hang out at home dressed up like zombies or cats or whatever, just for fun. And I don't know if other people do that, but we do. And this year is actually going to be the first year that I don't know what her costume is because she wants to do it all by herself. So I'm very curious what she's going to come up with. The last few years, she has been very kind of gross and bloody looking characters, but with my help, of course. And a few years ago, she was like a zombie bride. And when we went out to go trick or treating, it was so awesome because so many houses we went to, they were like, "That's what I'm talking about. Oh, that's a great costume." So great. So, instead of the store-bought ones, she just had on an old dress, old white dress, that we splattered and made it look all gungy and gross. And then I did her makeup all gross. But yeah, that's kind of sad, eh? For I guess Gen X's and Xennials. We're we're gone. We're gone now, aren't we? We're getting up there. But that is something else that I thought about the other day because, of course, I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw whatever on TikTok, and it was this psychologist person talking about how Gen X's in particular look in the mirror and we don't see our age. And I think that is so very true, but it wasn't just Gen Xers, it's men as well, right? I think that's a big man problem, which is why they're always being gross and hitting on e people way too young for them, but that's a whole other story. But but I do think that for a lot of Gen Xers and Xennials, like, the '90s was a decade ago. It really like, that's what it feels like, and it's just bizarre to think, "Oh, it's 2025," because the '90s was 10 years ago, which is not true at all, but that's what it feels like, and I think it's also, if you grew up in that time, all of the people who were, like, in their 40s, 50s, 60s at that time were, like, your parents and grandparents, and they looked old, like, old, and they acted old, like, very old, and and it's just very weird, so I'm trying to read comments, I'm trying to keep up. So, Catherine, yeah, you're officially a senior, which I hope you get the discounts then, 'cause that's something I'm looking forward to. Hello, Julie, um oh, that's awesome, Morticia. I actually was Morticia 1 year as well, which is it's such a cool costume to do, and you can still be feeling so glam and gorgeous, right? Like, Morticia is such an awesome costume, and yeah, to go to a high school Halloween dance, that is even more awesome in 1990. Again, 10 years ago. You did that 10 years ago, right? Like, that's it. Do you still have that costume? Oh, Willow, I know. I know, we're actually older than the Golden Girls when that show first started. That's, like that's weird, and sometimes I have the Golden Girls playing on my tablet when I go to sleep because, again, ADHD, you gotta something's gotta take away from my brain, and it's so weird when you look at them, they look not young, but I don't feel like I look that old at all. It's just such a very, very strange situation to now be technically a golden girl, right? When none of us feel that way, I don't think. And sometimes, you meet the parents of your child's friends and stuff, and you sometimes think to yourself, like, oh my God, do I look like that? Like, you really don't. It's such a strange feeling. It's such a strange feeling to be in that old age bracket now, right? It's like my daughter literally calls me old to my face. So but then she also always tells me how beautiful I am and, what a nice figure I have and how she hopes she looks like me, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, you get the both, right? I'm in perimenopause, she's in puberty. It is what it is at this point. Oh, hands up if you're in perimenopause. Anybody? And if you are, how are you dealing with it? I shared my whole experience in a video on my channel, of course, and about how I was going absolutely, totally insane until I got on HRT, and then I'm back to somewhat normalcy now. I'm not having dark thoughts anymore, that's the biggest bonus of all. But, yeah, that's something else. No one warned us, right? No older women in our lives when we were younger, nobody said anything at all. Like, "Hey, this is 1,000 different symptoms you're gonna have, and you're gonna have dark thoughts, and you're gonna wanna murder everyone around you and yourself." Like, no, nobody told us. Um, but yeah, we are all now the same age as old people, and that's I guess, you know what? To put a positive spin on it, we get to be the same age as old people, right? There's a lot of people who didn't make it to our ages, which is, you know, so it's a good thing that we're here. Um, oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, perimenopause. Menopause is actually just one day. That's it, which is it's so crazy that the medical community at large and TV shows and media, whatever, they always just say menopause. It's not. Menopause is the literal one day after you haven't had a period for 12 months. Then that next day, single day is called menopause. And then after that day, you're postmenopause. So before that day, you're perimenopause, and then menopause, and then postmenopause. Um, which again, I'm for sure some man thought of that, but then didn't come up with any way to help us, right? It's like, oh, it's just a woman thing. Yeah, you'll deal with it. Like that's what we get. So, oh, but we're all surviving, right? We're all here. We're all surviving. Um, all we can do is, try to lift each other up. And something that I try to do every single day if I am out of my house, because there's nothing, I can't do it in my house, is give a stranger a compliment. And just this past week, I was out of my house twice, which is amazing, like, for this introvert here, this anxiety introvert. And I on the first day, the first time I went out, I had to take my daughter shopping, and I saw this woman at the end of the block because we don't have a car, so we walk and take the buses everywhere, and she looked from afar, like, so put together, so like, she just spent so much time, and with she had, like, leopard print, everything coordinated, like, perfect makeup, just beautiful, and as she got closer, I mean, she had to be at least in her 60s, but I just said to her, like, "You are stunning. This outfit, amazing. You have a talent." And it was, again, it was such a high for me because she just lit up, and it was I was being genuine, she was being genuine. It was just a really great experience. And then yesterday, I had to take my dog to get his nails trimmed because he won't let me do it. And and when we were crossing the street to go to the dog groomer place, there was a lady waiting to cross the other way on the street, and she just had this beautiful white outfit, lovely hat, and she had this big bunch of sunflowers. And I said the same thing to her, like, "Yeah, you are absolutely gorgeous. This is just an amazing look you have, and the bunch of sunflowers because it's by a supermarket, they just really set everything off." And then we had a lovely little conversation, and it brightened up my day, it brightened up her day, and it was, maybe a 3-minute, interaction, but it was great, and it really it's just such an amazing thing to know how little it takes to brighten someone's day, to brighten your own day, because when you do that, when you just give out a little compliment, you walk away feeling great too. And you don't ever have to lie. I mean, you're not gonna go up to someone you hate their outfit and go, "Oh, I love your outfit." No, you know? Um, yeah, it's just awesome. And again, I learned my lesson to not really do it with men because they just take it as an invitation, and then, I did that one time, and he was, like, following me home, which is just like, "What? How? Why?" But again, that is something we as women can do for other women and people who present as women, and, women are women, right? So just do it because it feels great. And again, you make their day, you make your day. It's just spreading the positivity all around. And exactly, we just need that right now. Everybody needs that positivity. Um, like I said at the very beginning, if you want that workshop, all you have to do is join my channel, and it's there on my channel along with the other members only content, which it's getting to be a lot now. I try to put out members only content at least a couple of times a week, like the short form stuff, and then you get, two brand new tutorials every single month. so I think it's worth joining. I'm working my butt off to make it worth joining because every little bit helps, of course, behind the scenes here. Because it's my, this is my job basically. And with what is going on in the world, unfortunately, a big part of my job was actually my Refashionista boxes, and that's I can't do that anymore because of the postage fees and everything have just skyrocketed, which is terrible. And, I mean, it's affecting everybody. But yeah, a big part of my income is gone. So please join my channel. I have 3 tiers starting at 99 cents. And I hope that this was informative. I know I blah, blah, blah a little bit. um, but we will see. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Catherine and the granddaughters. Thank you for joining my Refashionista crew. You will be getting your lovely personalized welcome very soon. And I really hope that we can meet, every Sunday. I'm planning on doing the Refashionista Recharge every Sunday. And I promise sometimes I'm not gonna like have a bad story like I had at the beginning of this one with that workshop. I hope I'm not gonna have that again. Um, but before I go, I just want everybody to be sending me good snaps and good thoughts because I'm going to actually try to become maybe a host on the shopping channel because they are currently accepting auditions. So, I mean, it would be a regular paycheck. So that's what's important. And I think I would be good at it, right? Just do products that are, sustainable and green products. And yeah. So all the positivity, all those good vibes, I'll take them. Yes, they I hope I will. I hope I will. I still have to shoot my video and everything, but I'm hoping to get that done this week. And the only thing I'm a bit concerned about is they definitely have a certain look to them, which I do not have, that kind of look. But hey, maybe they need this instead. That would be good, I think. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Catherine. Thank you for joining my crew. And I guess until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch ya on the zigzag. and and remember, next Sunday, same time, same place. The link will be available. I will put it in the community post tab on my channel. So see ya next weekend.